Welcome to WTN Informer. I am Desiree Mago and making the news. Daylight robbery in Front Street. On Monday morning, police received reports of a robbery taking place at a jewelry store on Front Street. At about 11:30 a.m., 3 suspects rushed into the store and threatened the workers of the store and took jewelry and fled the scene. Police spokesman Ricardo Henson with the details.
We don't have much details, there's not much details I can give you right away, but because the detective haven't filed a report, I have to wait until the report is completely filed for me to have all the facts put together to really bring them out and give them to you as is. Nevertheless, it's this morning at about 11:30 minutes to 12 o'clock, just before midday, a phone call came in, and we get several phone calls informing us of an armed robbery taking place in the jewel store on the Front Street. And at this robbery, there would have been 3 persons would have been involved, 2 of which went into the jewel stores. 2 armed men went into the jewel store and robbed the jewel store of some jewelry. And immediately after we received these calls, we dispatched several patrols in that area to investigate and find out exactly what took place. And in that process, during that investigation, 1 man in 1 white car, driving a white car, he was arrested, and while searching the car, some jewelry was found back, and that jewelry was confiscated, of course. The car was confiscated for further investigation. And as the investigation continued, it spread all the way to Fort William area, where we believe one of the suspects had fled. But the people in that area was not cooperating very well with the police. And anyhow, we continued our investigation and our searches. We didn't get through to arrest anyone else, but during that investigation we found a gun and some clothing we believe would be from the suspect that had fled the scene. But we are not sure as yet who the suspect is. We have some indication who he may be. Nevertheless, as I said, the detective department still has to file their report, and the investigation is ongoing.
And of course, you're open to any information that the police...
Oh, most definitely. The police department, as we always say, we cannot do this work alone. We need cooperation from the community, and I'm sure that with the cooperation from the community, we would come to a result. We would get results of this investigation.
On Monday morning, Parliament of St Maarten continued a meeting with Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, Cornelius de Wever. The agenda point for the meeting is government's policy in regards to the issuance and renewal of doctor cards and government's policy on the granting of social aid. The second agenda point the labor situation on the island. This meeting was called by opposition party, the National Alliance. Minister Cornelius de Wever answered some of the questions from the members of Parliament in the first round. In the second round, some of the members of the oppositions were not satisfied with the answers provided by the minister. Round 2 of the meeting continues on Tuesday afternoon. On Saturday, the St Maarten AIDS Foundation hosted their annual free district testing day for the community of St. Peter's and South Reward. Over 100 persons tested and received the results on the spot. The next testing day for the population of St. Maarten is November 27th at Scotiabank, as we hear from the president of the St Maarten AIDS Foundation, Dr. Gerald Van Osch.
Sure, it went actually very well indeed. This time we decided to go to one of the districts again and not have like a general testing day for the entire population, although everybody who wanted to come from other districts was welcome, and indeed we had probably about 60% people coming from the St. Peter's area and the rest probably from other districts. I think there was a tremendous nice turnout again. We saw 108 people that came in for testing, of which 50 were women, 58 men, especially a number of young men, which we are very happy with, that they are also becoming more conscious about the fact that HIV is around, and it's better to know your HIV status, because if you do have it, not only is there very effective, good treatment available that can keep you healthy, but also it's of course a way of knowing what's going on and to help prevent transmission to your partners, both for men and women. Age ranged from 13 years old till 66, that was the group we saw. And we had a tremendous support, as usual, from the medical students of AUC. They are always trained by us and by their own team to do the counseling, give the information on HIV and AIDS, and do the tests, and then a physician or another trained counselor gives the results. And the next test day is set for 27th of November in connection with World AIDS Day activities. For sure it will be at Scotiabank, and we're still working on trying to organize a basketball tournament, and then we'll have 2 locations like we had 2 years ago, both at Scotiabank and at the Sports Auditorium. But the basketball is still not 100% sure. Definitely will be back 27th of November in Scotiabank.
Were you happy with the overall outcome for Saturday?
Yeah, definitely. The results we don't give, once we go into the different districts, we don't feel comfortable giving results, because we're going to go also next year in more of the different districts, like Dutch Quarter and other districts, and we don't want the community to get a feeling like, oh, in this district it's like that, and in that district it is like that. So we keep it very confidential. The tests are also done confidential in a way that people do not need to give their name. We work with a registration number. And we give the authorities, the Ministry of Public Health, the results of number of tests that were performed, men, women that were tested, the gender, and if there are positive tests, then they only get to know that there was a positive test, and whether it was a man or a woman, and the age. We don't give any other information, so the information remains very, very confidential, you could say. It's free testing, people don't need to pay, and what people really like is that it is a rapid test. We use the rapid test. It's the same test that is used in many different countries in the Caribbean, the Abbott Determine 1 and 2 test, and it's a very, very sensitive and specific, so a very dependable test you could use, and is, you could say, very similar to a test done in the lab. With similar kind of dependability, you could say, for security, to know that the result you get is really the result that is the truth.
Okay, so you find people get more comfortable now to actually do the testing, though?
Absolutely. I mean, for the last, 3 or 4 years we've been doing these testing days, and people are indeed understanding the message that it's good to know your HIV status. It's just simply with the treatments available, much better to know. Obviously it's scary to know whether you have HIV, and there are issues you need to deal with, but there is good treatment out there, and we have it here available on the island. So it's a matter of, just like hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, HIV has become a manageable disease. If you catch it early, then your immune system is still strong, and in other words, I always explain it like, when your immune system is still strong and I start treating then the chance that you have a strong immune system all your life is much higher than when you don't know, or you don't want to know that you have HIV, your immune system gets weaker and weaker, you get sick. Then we can still treat you, but the chance of you regrowing and re-strengthening your immune system to normal strength becomes smaller and smaller the lower you get your immune system to go. So early detection and treatment in time definitely keeps people healthier and their immune systems stronger.
The Golden Stars Karaoke Festival kicked off on Saturday at the Celebration Palace. The show was hosted by the Age with Grace Foundation. The show was well attended, and organizers were happy with the overall response from the public towards the show. Founder of the foundation, Linda Richardson, in a statement to WTN Informer, she said that she is humbled by the tremendous turnout, the many compliments, the encouragement to continue, as well as the many suggestions and advice, and especially the joy it brought to so many. She continued by saying, "Rest assured that we are already looking into the next wonderful event. The foundation will kick off a TV show for the Asian population in January." However, the karaoke festival has made the foundation painfully aware of the tremendous need for such an event where people would come out and enjoy. Such an event where people will come out and enjoy themselves and meet other people, friends and family, some of whom they haven't seen for quite a while. In sports news, The St Maarten Sports Federation held a presentation on the sports infrastructure of the island on Friday evening. WTN Informer was at the scene where Raymond Jassaroon, chairman of a committee put in place by the Sports Federation to research and give recommendation on the future of sports in St Maarten. In his presentation, he covered the history of Sports Federation in the Antilles becoming members of international bodies related to sports, as it is now. St Maarten Sports Federation cannot receive international recommendation because the island is not an independent state.
Olympic sports organizations affiliated. And also that each affiliated sports organization already has to develop sports for all policy, which includes all age categories of country St Maarten, country Curaçao, country Aruba. For St Maarten to get now attention and to support up to the same level as in the Netherlands, they have to table this in the kingdom government meetings of the Council of Ministers of the Kingdom. For the Minister Plenipotentiary to deal with the kingdom government on any topic, he needs an instruction of the government Council of Ministers of St Maarten. In other words, that's why I brought it up. If you want sport facilities upgraded here in St Maarten to the same level as in the Netherlands, then you have to table it in the kingdom government. Because it's your guarantee that they have to provide, because this is only what you have to develop your own sports structure. If it is a development program for sports, education of athletes, of coaches, of whatever, the monies for that, you can start with bringing up, as countries in Maarten, what you have budgeted, but we already have heard how the Council of Ministers and also the parliamentarians have cried about the budget. It was limited. So the rest, to give you the guarantee to have your full development right, the kingdom government must put the money where the mouth is. And for them to bring it there, it's not the St Maarten Sports Federation that can knock on the door of the kingdom government. It is the government of St Maarten that gives an instruction to the Minister Plenipotentiary to address this thing in the Council of Ministers of the Kingdom.
In Caribbean news, Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness has set out his immediate areas of priority rein in the country's spiraling debt and garrison politics, boost job creation and investments, and poverty eradication. Holness, 39, who became the country's youngest prime minister, Sunday said Jamaica is yearning for a new type of politics, which he believes can only be accomplished if government and opposition work together. With news out of the Bahamas, just about 18 firearms and 3,386 live rounds of ammunition been turned over to police as 1-month gun amnesty introduced earlier this month reached the halfway mark. The measure was one of several announced by Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham earlier this month in the wake of a record 104 murders for the year, minus 44% more than the same period last year. National Security Minister Tommy Turnquest said credit should be given to Archbishop of the Catholic Diocese of Nassau, the Most Reverend Patrick Pinder, for leading an initiative to get illegal weapons off the streets. That brings us to the end of WTN Informer. I am Desiree Mago. Thank you very much for watching.